What sort of vehicle is the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban? What does it contrast with? With 3 lines of seats, beefy V8 or turbodiesel power, and a great towing skill, the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban is a do-it-all SUV. Shop it against long forms of the Ford Expedition and Jeep Grand Wagoneer, in addition to the Toyota Sequoia. Is the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban a decent SUV? While its size and thirst will not be for everybody, the Suburban is a regular SUV that effectively procures its TCC rating of 6.0 out of 10 on account of its agreeable lodge, cutting-edge highlights, and wide setup. What's happening for the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban? Parent organization General Motors Super Cruise framework is recently accessible, adding restricted without hands driving capacity on numerous parkways. The Suburban is a direct relation to the more limited Tahoe, yet with around 15 crawls of additional room split among freight and traveler space. The Burb comes standard with a 5.3-liter V8, however the discretionary 6.2-liter V8 conveys more grounded speed increase and a tow rating as high as 8,200 pounds. The discretionary 3.0-liter turbodiesel is expensive yet could pay out as it flaunts up to 28 miles per gallon on the throughway. All models have a generally delicate ride thanks to some extent to all that weight. Too enormous for serious rough terrain use, the Suburban regardless arrives in a tough Z71 setup with a lot of ground freedom and bumpy tires. Inside, the Suburban proposals upgrade space, however it's not exactly too bundled as a minivan because of its bulky casing under. 9 seats are standard, however most Suburbans include front and second line cans for 7 all-out tenants. In excess of 42 cubic feet of freight space anticipates behind the third column. A low 4-star crash test rating from the NHTSA is balanced by an extensive variety of standard accident evasion tech. What amount does the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban expense? The 2023 Suburban beginnings around $54,000 and can move to about $90,000 with choices. A Suburban LT with 4-wheel drive begins at around $65,000, and they add such comforts as cowhide situates and worked in Google for the 10.2-inch touchscreen. Is the Chevrolet Suburban a gorgeous vehicle? For its size, the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban wears fresh, current styling. Its blocky profile is balanced by sharp specifying front and center with incorporated LED running lights and a tall, expansive grille with headlights that nearly seem concealed from the beginning. It's a 6 out of 10 on the TCC scale. Wheel sizes can develop to as extensive as 22 inches. RST renditions have passed out in red trim, while the Z71 highlights a special front guard for further developed rough terrain freedom, and somewhat more regrettable efficiency. Inside, everything except the base model component, a major, splendid 10.2-inch touchscreen roosted high on the scramble and a computerized show outlined by the directing wheel. However, the push-button shifter to the screen's left isn't exactly as engaging. Is the Chevrolet Suburban 4WD? 4-wheel drive is standard on the Z71 and discretionary in any case. The Suburban Z71 likewise incorporates a restricted slipback differential and a 2-speed move case as well as slide plates and bumpy tires, reasonable in as much as you can track down a path sufficiently wide. How quick is the Chevrolet Suburban? It's speediest with the discretionary 6.2-liter V8, which comes standard on a few higher trim levels. With 420 horsepower and 460 pounds-to-foot of force, it's a major improvement over the base 5.3 liters 355 horsepower and 383 pounds-to-foot of force. The discretionary 3.0-liter turbodiesel accessible on certain trims flashes out 277 horsepower and a heavy 460 pounds-to-foot of force. The 10-speed program transmission standard across the line functions admirably generally, however it can stagger in low-speed driving. Towing is the Suburban's strong point, basically among large SUVs. Models with the enormous V8 and the turbodiesel can haul up of 8,000 pounds in the right setups. Establishing the Suburban's 6 out of 10 score is its smooth ride. The accessible versatile air suspension rides the best, however it's matched with enormous wheels enclosed by tires with short sidewalls. No Suburban handles like a games vehicle. It may not be very too proportioned as a minivan, yet the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban has incredible space inside and space for up to 9 travelers. Its 9 out of 10 score comes graciousness its capacity to deal with all travelers in solace, in addition to all their baggage. The Suburban's front seats are most normally found in a twin-can setup isolated by a wide mid-control area. Second column riders have a strong 42 creeps of room to breathe, and the 36.7 inches track down in line 3 outmaneuvers pretty much some other vehicle. The main drawback is admittance to the third line, which requires a fair setup of distorting even with simple to overlay second column seats. Freight space checks in at almost 94 cubic feet behind the subsequent column and a stunning 145 solid shapes with line 2 down, as well. The freight region is lower than in Suburbans past, yet at the same time higher than a minivan or enormous hybrid SUV. How safe is the Chevrolet Suburban? A 4-star rating from the NHTSA takes note of a disturbing rollover rating, however the 2023 Suburban offers a decent cluster of crash evasion highlights. On our scale, it scores 6 out of 10. All models accompany programmed crisis slowing down with walker location, dynamic path control, programmed high shaft headlights, a back seat update, back stopping sensors, and LED lighting. Versatile voyage control is discretionary, however it should be standard at these costs. New this year is Super Cruise, which permits restricted without hands driving on numerous expressways. A back camera reflect and an Encompass view camera framework are discretionary and beneficial. Presented in a wide cluster of trims, the 2023 Chevrolet Suburban procures 8 out of 10 because of its great standard elements, its noteworthy infotainment, and its large number of choices. The setup begins in LS trim for around $55,000, which purchases 8.0-inch touchscreen with remote Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, power customizable front seats, a distant starter, and a lot of USB ports. All models are covered by a 3-year/36,000 guarantee that likewise incorporates the principal administration trip. A 5-year/60,000 guarantee covers the powertrain. Which Chevrolet Suburban would it be a good idea for me to purchase? We'd move forward to the Suburban LT for its greater and more brilliant 10.2-inch touchscreen, which additionally incorporates Google applications including Google Maps and Assistant. That trim beginnings around $63,000, and it likewise incorporates cowhide trim, warmed front seats, a power back end, and Bose sound. How much is a completely stacked Chevrolet Suburban? Step through RST, Premier, and Z71 trims and you'll end up with the High Country, which with a couple of choices can approach $90,000. Costing that much, it very well may merit taking a gander at a GMC Yukon XL Denali or even a Cadillac Escalade. Is the Chevrolet Suburban great on gas? In many structures, no. The standard 5.3-liter V8 is appraised at only 15 miles per gallon city, 20 expressway, 17 joined, or 1 mile per gallon less with 4-wheel drive. Models with the Z71 trim bundle are a smidge thirstier yet. We give it a 1 here in view of those EPA evaluations. The leveled up 6.2-liter V8 is appraised about something similar, despite the fact that it's all the more remarkable. Figure 16 miles per gallon joined regardless of the arrangement. The turbodiesel, be that as it may, can hit 28 miles per gallon on the thruway in specific arrangements. That was average size vehicle economy in the relatively recent past.